What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Bears Profit Plays YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the content in this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of this video for a quick message from our team. Let's get into the video. Welcome, guys, to our Tournament Challenge bracket breakdown for the upcoming NCAA tournament. If you want to compete with us and enter your own bracket, you can. There will be cash prizes for members of our site. First place will be $50, second place will be $30, and third place will be $20. And then the free bracket, you will have the chance to win 1-year membership, 6-month membership, and a 1-month membership to our website, bearsprofitplays.com. To enter into the cash prize entry, you must be a member on site. You can sign up for $5 a month right now over on bearsprofitplays.com. You can enter into this tournament and get our best place for the month as well. All of this will be done on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. The username and password is below for the free bracket. You don't need a password for the free bracket, obviously, so the username is down below. The bracket for members will be posted on our site tonight for you guys to start your entry on site. The password will be on site protected as always. All right, let's get into this tournament bracket breakdown. We're going to go region by region. We're going to start with the South region. It's going to be the Alabama game, the 1 versus 16 seed. I'm going to start here. I don't need any explanation for this game. The Alabama Crimson Tide are my favorite team right now to win it all this year. They are long, lanky. They play great defense, and they have Brandon Miller, a top 5, probably not 5 pick in the NBA draft. I'm going to go Alabama, obviously. Trey?
Yeah, my pick is obviously going to be Alabama. We have seen a lot of these mid-major teams compete with the Power Fives over the last few years, but Alabama is on a whole different level than what we saw as the Virginia team that got upset as the 1 seed a handful of years ago. My vote is Alabama.
Deets?
Alabama. Yeah. Next.
Yeah, okay. And I forgot to talk about the rules. This is going to be majority rule. If 2 of the 3 vote for the team, they will advance. Everybody on the panel, all 3 of us, have a force token. So if we get majority outruled, we have a force token. If we pick the team that is not the majority, they will advance if we use that token. But we only get 1, so it has to be used wisely. But let's move on to the Maryland versus West Virginia game. This is going to be a great game. Teets, I'll let you start.
I'm actually going to go with West Virginia. Call it Big 12 bias. West Virginia, they just are known for their pressing, their high pace, high intensity type of basketball. I think that they have been battle tested enough. The fact that they've made it to the tournament tells me that they are going to be good enough to continue on, because I consider Big 12 to be one of the best conferences in the nation. And I think that although Maryland, don't get me wrong, they've been battle tested, Big 10 is equally as good as Big 12. I just think that West Virginia is going to take this one home.
Trey?
Yeah, this is an interesting game, Big 10 versus Big 12, like Teets has said. I mean, if you look at how these teams rank up against each other, we have to give the edge to Maryland. That is my pick.
All right, I will be the majority here. I'm going with West Virginia in this matchup to advance. Maryland, towards the end of the season, kind of collapsed. West Virginia is battle testing the Big 12, like Teets said. I think the Big 12 has the better teams in the Big 10 this season. Not saying that Maryland did not have tough opponents all year, because the Big 10 probably is the second toughest conference in the nation. But I think West Virginia has the advantage in this game. They score better than Maryland. From what I've seen out of Maryland, they play better defense than West Virginia. But I think the offense for West Virginia will carry them to this win. And the lack of offense for Maryland is going to hurt them. So West Virginia to advance, 2 out of 3 majority there. But let's move on to the 5 versus 12. Everybody's talking about it. SDSU versus Charleston. Trey, start us off.
Yes, this is going to be a really fun game to watch. A lot of people circled this as the game to watch for the first round. And it is because it's going to be a defense versus offense game. Charleston is one of Teets' favorite teams, so we're going to be interesting to see which side he goes here. But I'm going to go with San Diego State. I'm not going to pick an upset here quite yet, because I do think that San Diego State's defense will show up. And we have seen them compete really well in the Mountain West, so I'm going to give the edge to San Diego State.
Yeah, sorry, Teets. Everybody's talking about Charleston here to win. I'm not going to take them. SDSU advances. They play fantastic defense. Charleston does run and gun. They make a lot of threes. But San Diego State, the more consistent team and play much better defense than Charleston. San Diego State only allowing teams to shoot 29% from deep, only allowing 6 threes per game. They advance. Teets, what'd you have just in case?
I did have Charleston. They were my first upset. But, I definitely understand why you take San Diego State. Charleston, they've been great this entire season. They score a lot of points per game, but they haven't played a lot of actual good teams. Like I think they played North Carolina early on in the season. They gave them somewhat of a game, but they just really haven't had that top tier level of play against other teams. So San Diego State I'm perfectly fine with that too.
All right, let's move on to Virginia versus Furman. I'm going to go first. This is my big upset of the first round so far. I'm going to take Furman to win. Virginia cannot score. Furman is averaging over 80 points per game. Furman wins because Virginia can't score. I don't care who you are. I don't care how well you play defense. Virginia cannot put the bucket in the hole, so Furman will be my pick. Teets.
I'm actually going to go with Virginia because of their defense. Virginia's always been known as a really good defense, and they also typically I say typically, make some pretty good runs in March Madness. Furman, they score quite a bit of points, but I know that the Cavaliers themselves can shut down some pretty big named guys. I think that Virginia will at least move on to the next round.
Trey, decide it for us.
All right. Well, I hate to be this guy, but I'm going to go with Virginia here. I do love Virginia, and I love Furman, but we have seen Furman not really play close games against quality teams. They have a 19-point loss against NC State and a 5-point loss to Penn State. And whenever you look at Virginia, they are very good at keeping the ball in their hands. They are the best offense in the league when it comes to assist to turnover ratio. So I think that's going to help them out in March a lot. Give me Virginia. Sorry, Bear.
Understandable. That's fine with me. Virginia will probably win, but it's March Madness. You got to give some teams in there. Let's move on to Creighton versus NC State. I'm going to go first. Fly, Blue Jays, fly. Creighton wins this game easy. NC State should not be here. They just got smacked by Clemson, who isn't in the tournament. If anything, this is the first 4 team for NC State. They should not have gotten an automatic bid. They shouldn't be here. Creighton wins big. Teets?
I'm going to actually second that. I feel like NC State, they were really good early on in the season, and they've hit a wall. They've kind of fallen off. I thought that they were going to be probably higher ranked, less losses. I thought they were going to be a team in the ACC to watch. But Creighton is just another team that is battle tested, and they typically, again, they have a history in March Madness. So I'm going to go with Creighton with you.
Trey, did we sweep here?
Yeah, this is going to be a sweep. I back up everything that Bear said. I haven't watched a lot of NC State basketball this year, but when I have, it has disappointed me. Creighton is obviously the deeper team and the more well-rounded team. Give me Creighton.
All right, Baylor versus UCSB. This is an interesting game. Teets, I'll let you start.
I'm going with UCSB for the the fact that Baylor has looked doo-doo at the second half of the season. Baylor was one of the top-ranked teams in the nation, honestly, at one point in time. As KU was trending down, which is my team, Baylor was trending up. You had Keontae George, you got Flagler, you got Cryer. They were looking great, and I don't know what happened outside of an injury to Keontae George, but they have not looked good since. They're losing games that they should not be losing. They're letting teams play them really close. Honestly, I don't even know what Santa Barbara is going to be bringing to the table. I have not watched enough of them. I just know that Baylor is going to potentially choke this game away, and there's always a 3-14 upset. I'm picking this as my upset.
Yeah, UC is good this season. The Baylor Bears, like you said, struggled down the stretch, had that disgusting out in the Big 12, losing to Iowa State in the tournament, but they advance in round 1. Too good a guard play for Baylor. Trey?
Yeah, we've seen this Baylor Bears team start off the season red hot, beat UCLA, beat Gonzaga. That's good enough for me to easily claim Baylor here as the winners.
All right, let's move to Missouri versus Utah State. Another fantastic game here. Trey, start us off.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not quite for sure how I want to go in this game because I feel like this might be the most even matchup game in the first round. It's kind of hard to get a read on Missouri, and Utah State has been very good in the Mountain West this year. I'm going to go with Utah State here because I do think that Missouri is a little bit too dependent on Kobe Brown. So I'm going to go with Utah State to kind of outscore Mizzou here.
Yeah, you said this is a coin flip game. Both teams very good offensively. Both teams force a lot of turnovers. I'm going to go with Missouri to advance in this game. 7 seeds in the NCAA tournament win at a 60% clip. This game is a toss-up for me, so I'm going to side with history. Teets?
I'm going to back you. I'm just going to go based off of the fact that they played Alabama, who was the overall number 1 seed, very, very well in the SEC tournament. I just feel like Missouri's turned it on quite a bit towards the back half of the season. Utah State's great. I just think that Mizzou's going to take this one to the next round.
All right, Mizzou advances. Arizona versus Princeton, last game in this region. This is all Arizona to me. I really wish Yale got in instead of Princeton. I think that would have been a much better game. But yeah, Princeton, they've shown they're good, but they blow a lot of leads, and they're not even close to Arizona's talent. So Arizona advances. Teets?
You know, I'll give a shout out to Princeton because both men and women were able to win their tournament for the first time ever. So, you know, kudos to you guys. Shout out. But yeah, I'm going Arizona this one. That's not even a question. Arizona, even though they are a 2 seed, they are honestly one of the best teams in the nation, and they are very terrifying to match up against in March Madness.
Trey, sweep?
Yeah, this is a sweep. Like Bear said, I picked Yale to win that Ivy League conference tournament, and they shit the bed. So give me Arizona here. I don't think Princeton's even in the same realm as the Wildcat squad.
All right, let's go back up to the top of this region. We're going to pick our final 4 teams for each region and then go to the next region. So our next matchup will be Alabama versus West Virginia. Like I said, I have Alabama winning it all, so I'm going Alabama here. Trey?
Yeah, the SEC is run by Alabama. West Virginia is probably the 8th best team in the Big 12. Give me Alabama here to win very easily.
Teets?
We're sweeping. Alabama is one of the best, most rounded team in the nation. Even though they have a lot of shots and shots missed, Brandon Miller has not done great in terms of efficiency. West Virginia will not be able to keep up whatsoever.
All right, Alabama does advance. Let's go to our next game, SDSU versus Virginia. I had Virginia losing, so I'm obviously going SDSU here for my pick. Trey?
Yes, this is probably going to be, if these two teams do wound up playing in the second round, the most defensive game. Each team will be lucky to get to 55 points. So I'm going to go with the offense here. Give me San Diego State.
Teets?
Let's just sweep it again. The thing is that I had Virginia advancing the first round, but in almost every single one of my brackets, Virginia just chokes away games so easy. They lose a lot of games that they should never lose. I think this is going to be one of them, so give me San Diego State.
Yeah, talk about a team to score 40 first wins that game. That's going to be a great defensive game. But SDSU does advance. Let's move on to our next game. It's going to be Creighton versus Baylor. I'm going to go last for this one. Trey, start us off.
Yes, and one of our good friends and Jesse's brother, Jake, he is a Creighton graduate, and I feel like he will be wanting us to pick Creighton here. He has a love-hate relationship with them, but I'm going to go with Creighton here because basically what you guys said about Baylor in the first round, we can't trust Baylor. I feel like we only let them go past the first round because of their matchup. So give me Creighton.
Teets?
I'm actually going to go Baylor here. Here's my thought process. I don't think Baylor. I arguably don't think Baylor's going to make it past first round. But if Baylor can get hot and make it past first round, they are a team that could make a really deep run in the March Madness playoffs. So Creighton's a great team, but I would take Baylor in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm taking Creighton to advance here. Baylor, the 3 guards, they're very dependent on them, and I think Creighton's going to shut them down. Creighton, one of the best two-way teams in the nation. Creighton will advance. They beat Baylor. Let's move on to our next game. It's going to be Mizzou versus Arizona. I have Arizona advancing. Mizzou won't get past them this time, but I have Arizona. Teets?
I have Arizona as well. Like I said, they're one of my teams to watch. They're terrifying to play against. And Mizzou, I think it's just going to be kind of a lucky game to get past them.
Trey, sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep. I can't take Mizzou here to beat Arizona. Arizona might just be too big for the Mizzou Tigers here, so give me the Wildcats.
All right, let's go back up to the Alabama side. Alabama versus SDSU. Again, Alabama, Brandon Miller, Mark Sears, Quinterly, Clowney, and Charles down low. Too big, too much power on the offensive side. They advance. Trey?
I'm going to go with the upset here with the Aztecs. I don't expect them to be the majority vote here, but I do feel like Alabama might struggle to get some good shots off against this Aztec defense. We've seen Alabama run through Brandon Miller, run everything through him. If San Diego State can do just a good enough job on Brandon Miller, I think that their offense will kind of carry them past the Crimson Tide.
Beats?
I'm going to go with Alabama, but I do agree with everything that Trey said. Alabama is a team that, although they are one of the best teams in the nation, if you shut down Brandon Miller, they can completely crumble and fall, and they could have an early exit.
All right, Alabama does advance. Let's go to the last game here. It's going to be Creighton against Arizona. Teets, start us off.
I'm going to go with Arizona. I've said it a few times already. I think that they are a team that can make a really deep run.
Trey?
These two teams played early this season in a tournament that was very early, so it was a neutral site. Arizona did win by 2. I'm going to expect something similar. Give me Arizona to win a very close game.
Well, I was going to take Creighton, but it's not going to matter. I think Arizona probably wins. Creighton's depth is horrible. They don't have any problems they don't have anybody on the bench to come in. That's going to be a big problem for them in the tournament. So I was going to take the upset here, but Arizona advances on majority. I'm not going to use my token for this side of the bracket, but Alabama versus Arizona will be the matchup. I'm going Alabama to go to the Final Four. Trey?
We didn't want it to be chalky 1 versus 2. We're even doing majority vote, so we might get some lucky upsets going on later in the tournament. But I'm going to go with Alabama here. I mean, this game would be electric. This game might even be better than the national championship game, whatever it turns out to be, because these two teams were always top 5 during the entirety of the regular season. So I do think Alabama's offense will kind of be able to outscore Arizona, and I do love Alabama's big men down low to be able to contest with the Arizona's big men. So give me Alabama to win a very close game.
Teats, we going for the sweep?
I can give you the sweep, but my heart says Arizona, but it's not going to matter.
All right.
Hey, you can use your token.
No, it's the thing is like I feel like Alabama, if they are one of those teams that if they can just be consistent, they can win it all so easy, like double-digit wins along the way. I just think that Arizona, I feel like Alabama is going to hit a wall eventually, and I think Arizona could be the team that could take advantage of Brandon Miller potentially having an off night.
All right, so Alabama to win the South for us. Let's go to the East. First matchup will be Purdue versus the 16 seed Purdue. Jerry?
Yeah, Purdue here. Bear loves Purdue and Zach Edey. I'm going to back him here in this easy matchup. Purdue should win by at least 25.
Teats?
Yeah, Purdue.
Okay. All right, 8 versus 9. Great matchup here. Memphis versus FAU. Trey, start us off.
Gosh, I'm pretty excited to hear what Teets has to say about this. FAU is one of his golden gooses along the regular season ride, but this Memphis team is damn good. They have a dynamic point guard and an absolute dynamic big man as well. I think that they're going to carry them at least past the first round. Give me Memphis.
Teats?
I'm actually taking Memphis too, especially after what they did to Houston. FAU is great, but I just don't think that they are battle tested like Memphis is. I don't think that FAU played anyone really worth naming. So yeah, give me Memphis for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to sweep with Memphis here. I think Memphis can make a big run in this tournament. Like Trey said, they are very dangerous, but they did get a bad draw in FAU. FAU looked very good in their championship game. They score a lot of points just like Memphis. This is going to be a great game, but Memphis, I think they do enough to advance. But let's go on to the 5 versus 12. Duke versus Oral Roberts. Duke getting a 5 seed. I thought that was very disrespectful for the Blue Devils. But Trey, start us off.
Yes, Oral Roberts is very good, and they are kind of close to us down in Tulsa. So shout out Oral Roberts for showing up and stepping up in the national tournament. I'm going to take them here. I'm going to take them Oral Roberts. They have been dominating in their conference, as you can see, 18-0 in their conference. And the thing is, I'm a little worried they have been getting dominated against big teams. Houston beat them by 38, as you can see. But this Duke team has been rather irrelevant throughout this regular season. There's a reason why they're a 5 seed. It looks like the committee did not kind of respect what the ACC has done this year. Give me Oral Roberts absolutely stun Duke here.
Yeah, I'm going Duke here. Very good defensively. Would love to see another run by Oral Roberts, but I don't think it happens this year. Duke looks unbeatable right now, mowing over teams in the ACC tournament. Duke here to win. Cheats?
I feel terrible for Oral Roberts. That's one of the worst draws that they could have had. I'm going Duke here just based off of how they did as recent as the ACC tournament. I watched the championship game against Miami, and although it was a back and forth game, Miami is a really high scoring team, and Duke's defense did a great job shutting them down. I just think Duke is hot right now, and they're also a team that is scary to play.
All right, Duke advances. Let's go to Tennessee versus Louisiana. I'm going to start out of respect for the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm going to take Tennessee in this game to move on. They are very good defensively, but they have a lot of problems. Starting guard is Out Ziegler, but they do enough in the first round to get past Louisiana. Teets?
I agree with all of that. I'm taking Tennessee first round as well.
Trey?
All right, well, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to take the Raging Cajun. Like Bear said, Ziegler is out for this game. That is going to impact, their turnover ratio, because I think the Raging Cajuns' defense is rather good. Not as good as Tennessee's, but I think the Cajuns should dominate on the glass and at least make this game really close. So I'd be taking Louisiana here, but I got outvoted.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game, but out of respect for Tennessee, what they did this year on defense, I'm gonna take them to advance. Could be an upset there. But let's go to Kentucky versus Providence. Revenge game for Bryce Hopkins, the big man for Providence. He transferred out of Kentucky because he said he wasn't getting enough time. He's been very good for Providence. The Friars move on. They win this game. Trey?
Yeah, both these teams have been somewhat up and down this whole season. If we look at how Kentucky's done against good teams, they have not been doing very good. They lost UCLA by 10, Gonzaga by 16, and Alabama by 26. So they've been getting blown out in big games. Providence has been up and down. Give me the Friars here.
Tate, sweep?
Let's sweep it.
All right.
I dislike Kentucky anyway, so that makes my heart feel great. But outside of Oscar Schwebe, they don't really have anybody. And even with him, he doesn't seem like he has high basketball intelligence at times. I think that they can choke this game away pretty easy.
All right, let's move on to the Kansas State versus Montana State game. Montana State's bad, everybody. Take Kansas State here big. Teets.
Take Kansas State here. There's nothing to talk about with that.
Yeah, Trey.
EMA, baby. Take K-State minus 25.5. It's probably going to open up less than that, but just hammer them. Keontae Johnson and Marquise Noel is going to lead this Wildcats team deep into the tournament. I might get outvoted, but if it was my choice, we'd be taking them very deep into this tournament.
All right, Kansas State advances. Michigan State versus USC. I'm going to take Michigan State here. They're far superior over USC in this game. If you watched USC play their last game, you would have turned that game off against Arizona State, had wide open threes on every single possession. They knocked down their shots. USC's too inconsistent. Michigan State was great in the Big Ten this year. They got bounced by Ohio State in the tournament. They're going to come in angry. They win this game easy and advance. Trey?
I'm not sure it'll be easy because I'm going to be taking the Trojans here. I gave them out as my member play against Arizona State, and they did break my heart, but I cannot fade Boogie Ellis and Drew Peterson in the NCAA tournament, especially whenever you count in the fact that USC's coach was the old Florida Gulf Coast head coach whenever they went on their run. I think he still has some magic left in his hands. Give me USC.
Teets.
I'm taking Michigan State as well. I'm sorry, Trey. I think that the Spartans ran into a Cinderella team in Ohio State, but I think that the Spartans themselves are very battle tested, very ready for the tournament, and I think they're hungry.
Yeah, last game in the first round, Michigan State moves on. Last game in the first round, Marquette versus Vermont. I feel for this Vermont team because I really like them, but Marquette is too good offensively. They win this game. Trey?
Yeah, we've seen this Marquette team absolutely dominate the Big East. That's why they're the 2 seed. Vermont, they've been really good in their conference, but whenever they played the non-conference, they got whooped. Lost to St. Mary's by 26, USC by only 2, and they lost at Yale by 29. Give me the Golden Eagles.
Teets?
Give me Marquette.
All right. Marquette advances. Let's go back up to the top of this region and continue. Purdue versus Memphis. Trey, start us off.
Oh, my goodness. This game, I am so excited for this game. This whole game determines just what Memphis team's going to show up. That's going to determine this game. If the Memphis team showed up that played Houston a few days ago, it's going to be scary and a terrible draw for Purdue this early in the tournament. But I think Zach Edey is just a little bit too big for DeAndre Williams. DeAndre Williams is rather slim, even though he's like a 28-year-old playing in college. Give me Purdue here.
I'm going Memphis. DeAndre Williams, Kendrick Davis is going to be too much. You take Zach Edey away from this team, they have nothing. We saw that 18-point blown lead against Penn State in the last 4 minutes of the game. Zach Edey was not on the floor. Penn State dominated, scored 16 straight points, 22-4 run to end that game. Lomax for Memphis, also 2.5 steals per game. They don't like pressure. They can't break a press. Penny Hardaway Jr. is going to be pressing all game. Memphis wins this game. 8-seed advances. Teets?
If you want Memphis to advance, you have to use your token. I'm taking Purdue. I just feel like Purdue has been way too hot, way too long at the end of the season. I think that momentum is going to take them farther into the playoffs.
Hey, Bear swept me. I'm going Memphis.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Bear switched me. Oh, my goodness. I'm going Memphis.
That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see right there. Memphis advances. Let's go to Duke versus Tennessee. I gave Tennessee out of respect. Duke's going to win this game big. Trey?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like both these teams are kind of underperforming what we want them to do. I'm going to go Duke here just because, like I said, I didn't want to make Tennessee go past the first round because I do think their guard play is going to struggle. Give me Duke.
Teets?
You know, Duke is underperforming, going 26-8 on the season, and the ACC themselves is down. But Duke 26-8 is still pretty damn good. And like I said initially, they are hot right now. So give me Duke.
Duke to advance a sweep there. Let's go to our next game. It is going to be, Kansas State versus Providence. Trey, go ahead.
Yeah, Kansas State here. Providence was lucky to get past Kentucky. They're not going to get past these Wildcats in Kansas State. Hammer K-State in this matchup. Give me them.
Teets?
I'm taking the Wildcats too. I think that if they can stay on, if they can get anything consistently moving, they are very good. Providence, they've played some pretty decent teams, but they are just not that team yet.
Hopkins, Crosswell in the paint for Providence is going to be too much for Kansas State in this game. I think they will win. I'm going to get outvoted here, and I'm not going to use my token because I need it on the other side of the bracket. I know I'm going to need it on the other side of the bracket. The problem with Providence, the guard play. Sometimes they lack guard play. You need good guard play to make big runs in the NCAA tournament. So this game's going to be interesting, but I think Providence does advance. So I'll get outvoted here. Kansas State moves on. But let's go to our next game. It's going to be Michigan State versus Marquette. I'm going to start. Michigan State's very good defensively. Marquette's better offensively. Marquette wins. Trey?
I don't know if Marquette is – well, they are better offensively, but you might be disclaiming just what this Michigan State team can do, especially on their defensive end. They are better than Marquette. I mean, the Big Ten is better than the Big East, in my opinion, as well. But give me Marquette here.
Teets?
The sweep it. Give me Marquette. Marquette 7-2 against top 25 teams is pretty damn good.
Yep.
That offense is just going to not be able to be stopped.
All right, Memphis against Duke. Trey?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go Memphis here. They are going to be riding a lot of momentum if they do get past Purdue. I don't know if Duke's going to be, hot enough to stop them, because if we look at who Duke's had to play to get to this matchup, they had to beat Oral Roberts and then beat a dampered Tennessee team. But whenever we look at what Memphis had to do, beat FAU and then beat Purdue, I think that Memphis here will advance and take on whichever team we allow them to take on in the Elite Eight.
Teets?
I feel like Duke's hot streak's going to probably end here. I'm going to take Memphis in this one.
Dang. All right. Well, Trey, you took Memphis too, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter then. I think Duke gets Memphis here. Kyle Filipowski is going to barbecue chicken and serve some barbecue chicken on DeAndre Williams all night long. I think Duke would advance. Jeremy Roach, he's too good too. Both teams have really good big men and a really good point guard. So it's a coin toss here, but Duke's got the better defense. So I would go Duke here, but Memphis does advance on the majority rule. Not going to use my coin. But let's go to our next game, Kansas State against Marquette. Trey?
Yes, I'm going to be going Kansas State here. I really don't want to use my coin, so I'm just going to sit back and listen to what you guys have to say. I feel like K-State is the better team. They started off the season hot and maintained it even through a tough Big 12. We've seen Marquette dominate a Big East that was not very good. We saw Villanova kind of falter and Butler falter, two huge Big East teams. But give me K-State here, and just please, God, don't let me use my coin yet.
Cam Jones, the scorer for Marquette, so down low, nearly 2 blocks per game. 4 players scoring 11-plus points for Marquette. They beat Kansas State. Teets?
They do beat Kansas State. I'm sorry, Trey. Kansas State has a lot of talent, and they can definitely win this game. But they have looked a little lackluster recently, and I feel like they're going to need a lot of momentum to be able to beat Marquette.
Shaka Smart advances. Trey using the coin?
No, I'm not going to use the coin because I don't want to ruin our bracket, because I do see a way that Marquette could win that game, but my heart is absolutely broken. EMA, baby.
All right, Marquette advances, so that means it's going to be Memphis against Marquette. A magical run for the Tigers. It ends here with Marquette. I'm going to take Marquette to win this game. Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to go Marquette too. If these two teams do match up in the Elite Eight, this game would be in New York. That crowd would be overwhelmingly Marquette. Give me Marquette.
Deets?
For all the reasons you guys said, give me Marquette.
All right, so Marquette will represent that region. Let's go to the Midwest region here. It's going to be Houston versus Northern Kentucky. Started off, Houston Cougars. Marcus Sasser is going to be okay. He's going to play in this tournament, so everybody calm down. Houston to advance. Trey?
Yeah, even if Sasser doesn't play, this Houston team has enough depth to absolutely dominate Northern Kentucky. Give me the Cougs.
Teets?
Yeah, Houston's one of the best teams. Give me Houston.
All right, the Hawkeyes versus Auburn. Trey, start us off here.
Gosh, this team in this game is going to be having a lot of offense. Iowa scores a lot of points and does not know how to defend. And if you look at the BPI, they're pretty close as well with 32 with Iowa and 27 to Auburn. But we're going to have to look a little bit deeper than that, because I'm going to be going with Iowa here. I think that their offense is just going to be too much, because we've seen them compete against really good teams this year. So give me Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Hawkeyes here as well, only because they score a lot of points. They are very inconsistent. Though this game could go either way. Auburn has been very good defensively this season, and Iowa has struggled at times against good teams defensively. But we've also seen them score 90-plus points against teams. So the Hawkeyes hit their shots. They advance. Auburn, though, 10-0 in the last 10 opening games in the tournament. Something to look out for. But we're going to take the Hawkeyes here to advance. Teets?
Auburn's going to be 10-1. Give me the Hawkeyes.
All right, a clean sweep there. Let's go to the Miami versus Drake game. I'm going to open this one up. I'm taking the Drake Bulldogs in this game. Miami this season has been very good, and I have backed them in a lot of games, but they are so inconsistent, it hurts me. They have fantastic guard play, 3 of the best guards maybe in the nation, right up there with Baylor, but they let teams stay in games. You cannot let Drake stay in this game. This is not the team to do it with. Drake has 4 senior starters. The leading scorer on their team is a sophomore scoring nearly 20 points in a game, Tucker DeVries. I heard someone on CBS Sports compare him to Luka Doncic and Dirk Nowitzki's son or something like that. If you combine those 2 players, that's who he is. A wild statement for a college player. I'm backing the leadership of Drake. It's going to be a tough game, 12 versus 5, but these games are 50-50 for the most part. So I'm going to take the 12 seed here to advance. Teets?
I was talking up Duke about how Miami scores good too in that ACC championship game, but after what you just said about Drake, I'm going to take them. Also, isn't one of the guards for Miami also injured? I saw him go down in the ACC championship. I don't know if he's going to be ruled out or if he's going to be back. He was holding his knee, so I didn't know if that was an ACL situation. Something to kind of look out for. Roast me in the comments if I could be wrong.
I'm not sure. I know Nigel Pack was hurt. He's back though, and I know Wong and Miller are both healthy. So that's the three. That's the 3 main guards for them.
It was Pack that went down. So if he's back, but either way, I'm still going to back Drake. From everything that you just said, you definitely swayed my vote on that.
All right, Trey, sweep.
I didn't need a sway because I was going with Drake here. They have one of the most experienced starting lineups with an average age of 25. Hammer Drake here. They're very experienced.
All right, next game, Indiana versus Kent State. I'll go last, Trey.
Yeah, I'm very upset that my MAC team did not make the tournament, so I'm going to back up another MAC. I'm going to go with Kent State here because if we look at how Indiana's done, this 4 seed is just mind-boggling to me. They should not have been ranked this high, 22-11 on this season. And I got thumped multiple times this season. Lost to Kansas by 22, lost to Arizona by 14. Meanwhile, Kent State played a few good teams throughout the season. They lost to Houston by 5 and Gonzaga by 7, Charleston by 2. They are very competitive and can light up the floor. Give me the Golden Flashes.
You said it perfectly. The Kent State Golden Flashes will win this game. You can mark that down your calendar for them to play in round 2. Kent State this season went to Houston, went to Gonzaga, went to Houston, lost by 5 and 7. They have played the best of the best this year. They were beating Houston with 1 minute left in the game. They play fantastic defense. They have Sincere Carey who can score anywhere on the floor. Indiana this season, every game I watch them, they're either very good or they shit the bed. So they're hit or miss on any given night. Kent State will send Indiana home in this game. Kent State to advance. Teets?
Kent State. I know Indiana has 2 really solid guards. One's, I think, a freshman. The other one might be a senior. The names do escape me, but Kent State defensively so insanely good. Sincere Carey also very good. I think that Kent State definitely gets past the first round.
Yeah, we need to stop Trace Jackson Davis down low, but other than that, I think Kent State gets away from this, gets this win. So, all right, let's go to the Iowa State versus the winner of Pitt versus Mississippi State. Teets, start us off.
I am absolutely fading Iowa State. They are hot garbage. I don't care who wins between Mississippi State and Pitt. I think Pitt could win. I like Pitt a lot. But regardless of who comes out of that game, I think that they're going to win this matchup. Iowa State is so off and on, and they had such a strong start to the season, and then they just hit a wall and fell dead.
You said it literally word for word what I said. I'm going with the winner of the 11 seed game in this matchup. I'm hoping it's Pittsburgh, but I'll take either team here against Iowa State. Since 2011, the 11 seed is 25 and 23 against the 6 seed. Iowa State battle tested in the Big 12, but I'm not high on them. I think we get an upset here. Trey?
Yeah, that's called a sweep. Bring out the brooms. I'm fading Iowa State for all the reasons you guys said. We've watched them a ton. Living in the Midwest, we were forced to watch a lot of Big 12 basketball. Yeah. I don't think any of us were impressed with what Iowa State was doing, especially away from home. This isn't a home game. We're in March Madness. Give me either Mississippi State or Pitt. I'm going with Pitt, just like what you two said.
Yeah, I hope it is Pitt. I think Pitt's the better team in that matchup. But let's do the Xavier versus Kennesaw State game. I'm going to keep it simple, Xavier. Trey?
I'm excited to see what Teets says because he did pick Kennesaw State as one of his free picks a few weeks ago, and they cashed for him. Xavier being a 3 seed, I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful as well. I think that they should have been probably a 4 seed, but the fact of the matter is they're getting a tough game against Kennesaw State. But Kennesaw State has not played very good this season against quality competition, so give me Xavier.
Teets?
I love Kennesaw State. I have to throw them love, but I cannot take them in this setting. Xavier, both teams have kind of a smaller ball mentality, but Xavier is kind of like the Gucci brand, while as Kennesaw State's kind of like the great value. Give me Xavier in this matchup.
All right, 4 straight sweeps. I got a feeling this is going to be a majority vote game. Texas A&M versus Penn State. Trey, start us off.
Yeah, I'm going to start it off with the majority vote. I'm going to go with Texas A&M here. They played in the SEC and they dominated the SEC with a 25-9 record. They were arguably right up against it with Alabama, but Alabama is just too good. A 7 seed for the SEC runner-up was kind of disrespectful to me because we've seen what they've done against good teams. They beat Tennessee. They beat Alabama once this season. They beat Missouri twice, who is a 7 seed as well. So give me Texas A&M here.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about this game. Two of my favorite teams. This game's going to kill me, honestly. I've been talking about Penn State for the last 3 weeks. I backed them the entire way on the money line besides the Purdue game in the Big Ten tournament. I said on the last college basketball video that we did, Penn State will get a 10 seed. Most likely can give the 7 seed hell. But here we are, as I have to take on Texas A&M, a team that should not even be a 7 seed. They should be 5-4 even. And it just sucks for the Penn State Nittany Lions. These are probably the 2 teams in the nation that I would say have the most heart. However you want to measure heart, I don't care, but I measure heart. It's very important in the NCAA tournament. Penn State showed it against Purdue. Down 17, came back, almost won the game. They showed it the entire Big Ten season. They weren't supposed to be here. They made a huge run in the Big Ten tournament. But for Texas A&M, they beat Alabama in the regular season game on senior night, the last game of the regular season. They played Alabama in the championship game in the SEC tournament, lost that game big. In an interview I saw of Buzz Williams, he said, I know we're not the best team, and I know I'm not the best coach, but every day we strive to be the best team, and I strive to be the best coach, and that hit me hard. I'm a big believer in Texas A&M right now. Against Alabama, they were down by 16 points, 2 minutes left in the game. Starters get pulled. They were down in the dumps a little bit shedding tears, but, they have the NCAA tournament. The backups were in for Texas A&M. They got a 24-second violation on defense. The entire bench, besides the last couple people that came out, they stood and clapped and cheered. They loved every second of the backups playing defense with 2 minutes down 16 points. That's what you need in the NCAA tournament. And unfortunately for Penn State, they got a horrible draw. The game's going to be great. Texas A&M advances. Teets.
I was leaning Penn State, but after hearing all of that, I have to go Texas A&M. The thing about Penn State is that they are very streaky with shooting. When they're hot, and they can take on about anyone in the nation. But if you can get them even slightly stifled, which I think Texas A&M's defense can do, they do play with a lot of heart and grit, then Texas A&M will win this game.
Yeah, I feel horrible for Penn State. Like they could have made such a big run if they didn't get Texas A&M here, but Texas A&M advances. But all right, Texas versus Colgate, last game in this region. Teets, start us off.
I want to go with Colgate in this game, but I'm going to go with Texas. Texas has turned it on right at the right time. And I'm not saying that because of the 20-point win twice against KU. It's just the fact that they've definitely went on a hot streak towards the end of the season in general. And again, they're a 2 seed from the Big 12. That's got to show some sort of strength to their entire team and their roster as a whole. I think Colgate could give them a game for sure, but I think Texas by themselves, they're going to win this one outright.
Yeah, I'm going Texas too. Colgate, they make this game very interesting. They make a lot of threes, but, they could make some noise, could be close, but Texas wins this game. They advance. Trey?
Yeah, I'm throwing it up against the wind. I'm throwing a dart at the board. Give me Colgate here to upset Texas.
Love it.
Like Bear said, Colgate is the best 3-point shooting team in the nation. Shoot 41% from behind the arc, and they chuck them up. If they go win, they will win this game. Give me Colgate.
I don't hate that pick at all. But Texas does advance for us. Let's go back up to the top here. We're going to have Houston versus the Hawkeyes. Trey, start us off.
Gosh, this game's going to be pretty interesting. I'm just going to be assuming that Marcus Sasser is going to be playing in this game. The game's going to be in Birmingham, Alabama, so it's going to be relatively home game for Houston. Give me them here to advance. Their defense is just too good. Allow 56.5 points per game on the defensive end. Score 75, almost a 20-point per game difference. Give me Houston.
Yeah, this game is going to be tough because I've said for a while now I think Houston are kind of fraudulent. Even if Sasser plays, if he doesn't play, the defense looked bad against Memphis. Iowa, all 5 starters, double-digit scores. Chris Murray, NBA-ready player, 20 points a game. They can light up the scoreboard. They just need their shots to go in, and they can make a run. I'm going to take the Hawkeyes here to get the win in advance. Teets?
I don't know if I wanted to be the one to be the deciding vote, but I'm taking Houston in this game. I just feel like Iowa's way too streaky with their shot. They're going to come into a situation where it's not going to fall. And I feel like Houston's defense is so insanely good. Iowa hasn't seen anything quite at that level yet. But the problem is Houston they have their holes, and we've seen them quite a bit this season. Even with just 3 losses, their loss against Memphis was really bad.
Yeah, Houston does advance, but I have to disagree with you. I think the Hawkeyes have played some of the best defenses in the nation this season. You know, the Big Ten, all of those defenses are great, the top 5 at least. So I don't know. The game's going to be interesting, even if we do get that matchup. The Hawkeyes might lose to Auburn first round, but I think that game's going to be interesting at the least. But let's move on to the Drake versus Kent State game. This game's going to be great. Trey, start us off.
I'm going with Drake here, and I'm interested to see what Bear's going to pick because I know he loves both teams. Drake, like I said in the first round, most experienced roster in all of college basketball. And like Bear said, Tucker DeVries, he's a very skilled shooter. I think that he's going to carry Drake over Kent State here. I think they're going to do just enough to sincere carry to slow him down.
Yeah, sincere carry Malik Jacobs. As a team, 9 steals per game, 4 players averaging 1.1 per game steals, that is. Less than 12 turnovers per game as a team on offense, over 77 points per game as an offense for Kent State. Kent State moves on here. I don't know if Drake scores 60 on them. Teets?
I'm going with Kent State on this one too. The veteran presence is always nice, especially when you get into postseason tournaments like this, but it only takes you so far if you don't have the talent.
All right, Kent State moves on. I was getting worried there. I thought I might have to use a chip there, but Kent State does move on.
I mean, I almost used a chip on Drake, and then I saw they were going to be playing Houston. Then I was like, I'm not wasting it.
Yeah. But all right, let's go to the next game here. It's going to be Xavier versus hopefully Pittsburgh. I'm going to start. I'm going to take Xavier. Trey?
Yeah, this is going to be Xavier for me too. We saw what they did in the Big East. I do love Pitt and Mississippi State, but I don't love them as much as Xavier. There's a reason why they're playing in the first 4 in and not in the tournament. Give me Xavier.
Teets?
For all of those reasons said, give me Xavier.
All right, Xavier advances on the sweep. Let's go back up to the top here. It's going to be Houston. Last game at the bottom. Going to be Texas versus Texas A&M. I'm going to start. I'm taking Texas A&M. They have the heart. They're going to make a big run in this tournament. Texas A&M wins this game. Trey?
Well, I picked Texas to be on upset alert in the first round, but if they do advance, they're going to be playing in a Texas shootout with Texas A&M. I think that the crowd is going to be feisty here. Mm-hmm. Give me the Longhorns.
Teets?
I just want to say that we all have a friend who is a Longhorn fan, and to that friend, they're going home. Give me the Cadets.
Let's go. Give you who?
Texas A&M Cadets.
The Aggies. Wait, what?
Oh, all right. Back up.
No. We're keeping that in.
Hey, I mean, I do see them dressed up in military gear sometimes.
That's my thing. Yeah, I don't know why.
Where's it saying?
No, they're dressed up in military gear sometimes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, Teets picks the Aggies to advance. So
the Aggies.
Let's go to the. This is going to be Houston against Kent State game. Get your Drake Bulldogs out of there.
I tried to use my chip on him, and it didn't work, apparently.
You want to use a chip?
No, I'm just playing around.
Okay, all right. Trey, start us off.
Houston here. I didn't want Kent State to get past Drake, but if they do get past Drake, they're going to be riding a lot of momentum. And this game is in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, which was probably closer to Kent State than to Houston. But I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars here.
Yeah, I'm going to use my chip here. Kent State advances. They beat Houston. They were up by 1 point with a minute left. They're the exact same team. The only difference is Kent State scores a lot more points than Houston. They play the same style of defense. This is going to be a great game. Kent State's going to represent the MAC fantastic this season in the NCAA tournament. They advance. We're moving on. I'm going to use my chip right there. Kent State advances. Xavier versus Texas A&M. Teet starts off.
Yeah, this is where the Aggies end up going home. I'm taking Xavier in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. I'm going to take Xavier. I think Zach Freemantle is coming back for the NCAA tournament. When he's on the court, they score 83 points per game. So I like Xavier there. Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Aggies here. Not that it matters, but I think their defense is going to step up. I'm going to take the Aggies.
Yeah, I'm going to switch my pick right here to Texas A&M. I'm going to take the Aggies as well. Forgot about the heart factor. I didn't measure heart. Xavier has no heart. So Texas A&M advances. All right, let's go to the Elite Eight game. Texas A&M against Kent State. Trey, go ahead.
Oh, gosh. Well, these two teams weren't supposed to be here, but the chip was used. I'm going to go with Texas A&M because I do feel like they're going to have a lot of momentum riding into this game. They ended the season with a red-hot winning streak, 16-3 to end the season. So give me the Aggies.
Teets?
I love heart. I love grit, but I feel like that can only take you so far. And when you use it up to get to the Elite Eight, I think you're going to end up going home a little sad. I'm taking Kent State in this game. Let's just take Maction all the way.
Yeah, I had to use the chip against Houston because I don't think Houston played very good teams. They only had 9 quad 1 games. They went 7-2 in those games. The Texas A&M Aggies are going to win this game because Kent State just, they played in the MAC, so they didn't have a lot of competition. Texas A&M battle test in the SEC. They played Alabama twice. Texas A&M advances here. Great run by the Kent State Flashes, though.
You really used your chip not to advance them again? Come on,
listen. I know what I want. I had Texas A&M going here. I have Texas A&M going here.
I tossed it up to them
beats
too.
Houston, but they don't get past the Aggies. No. I'm going to take the Aggies there to advance. All right, let's move down to the last region of the bracket. We have the West. It's going to be Kansas versus Howard to start us off. Trey, go ahead.
Okay, as much as I hate the Jayhawks here, I got to take them over Howard. Howard has barely have a positive plus minus on the scoring on the season, so give me Howard. So give me KU, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Kansas is being extremely disrespected here. 17 quad 1 wins, the most by far in the nation, and they get the third best 1 seed. That's horrible by the committee. Houston got over them as the better 1 seed with 7 quad 1 wins. Like I said, that's laughable to me. I don't know what happened with the committee on the final picks, but they messed this one up big. If anything, it gives Kansas a chip on their shoulder. They're going to be pissed off. Kansas wins easy. Teets?
What, you didn't hear that they're taking into consideration that their best defensive player and head coach were out for the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what it came down to from what I read. No, I'm taking KU in this game, and I don't have to talk much about it.
All right, let's move on to maybe the best game, I think, in the round of 64. It's going to be Arkansas versus Illinois. Trey?
Yeah, I love this feisty Arkansas team, but this Illinois team has been up and down. They were ranked very highly at the beginning of the season, and then we kind of saw them just slowly fall down the rankings. So give me Arkansas here. I think that their defense is going to show up and kind of dominate the rebounds as well. So I'm going to go with Arkansas.
Keats?
Oh, everything that Trey just said, I was going to say essentially all of that. Illinois, great at home, not great on the road, and even though they're just a state over, it's still a neutral site road game for everybody. Arkansas defensively super tall. Give me Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arkansas as well for the sweep. Arkansas is massive down low, like Teets said. They have 2 great shot blockers. Illinois won't be able to keep it going from deep, only making 6 threes per game on the year. It'll be a very physical game here. I think Arkansas is more physical than Illinois. This sucks for me because I had Illinois winning it all at like plus 2,700 at the start of the season or something like that. So this is going to be a bad beat for me, but Arkansas is going to win this game. They advance. But let's go to St. Mary's for VCU. This is a great region. Teets, start us off.
I'm going to have to go with St. Mary's just based off of who they've played. They have given Gonzaga the biggest run for their money all season long. They are just ready for these type of matchups. I don't think VCU is.
Yeah, I should have saved my chip because I think I'm going to get outvoted here. This is going to be a great game, very low-scoring game. I'm going to take the 12 seed to win. I'm very high on VCU this season. I've watched them play multiple times this season. Both of these teams play the exact same way. Very good defensively. If they get their shots to fall, they're very scary. Going to be a very scary out in the next couple rounds. But VCU, according to Ken Pom, top 20 in the offense and defensive rating in their last 10 games played. VCU is playing better than St. Mary's right now. I will take the Rams to pull off the upset. Trey?
You don't need to use a chip because I'm going with VCU here. I picked them to beat Dayton in the conference tournament, and you know what? They surprised me. VCU showed up and they played hard, and I think they're going to continue to play hard. They press almost the entire game, and if St. Mary's gets across half court, the press does not stop. They are a very feisty defense. So give me VCU here to kind of milk out the rest of the March Madness juice that they have left over from about 10 years ago.
All right, VCU does advance. Let's go to the UConn versus Iona game. Teets' favorite team on the line here. Teets, start us off.
I'm taking Iona in this game. UConn is great offensively. UConn has also played a lot better teams than Iona does. But Rick Pitino has led these boys to believe that they can be winners. They took care of business the entire season. I think that they can make some magic happen in March Madness. Give me Iona. Give me the 3-headed monsters of Dennis Jenkins, Nelly Jr. Joseph, and Walker Clayton. Me stumbling. I forgot their names already. Yeah,
I have in my notes here. I know Teets will take Iona in this game, but they press nearly every possession. Rick Pitino, legend of the coach, we know. But I'm going to take UConn here to win big. They're too big down low for Iona. UConn wins and advances. Trey?
I'm going with Iona here.
Yeah.
I think those 3 players that Teets listed are going to dominate this game. I mean, if Maris was here, I'd be taking Marist. The MAC conference might be the best conference in all of college basketball, and Iona dominated it. That was a little bit of sarcasm, but the fact of the matter is Iona is probably the better team, in my opinion, because we saw what UConn was. They started off the season red hot, but we do need to remember they entered the regular season not ranked, and they surprised everybody, and then they kind of reverted back to what we expected them to be. So give me Iona here to advance.
All right, Iona advances, All right, that's a good upset. I don't hate the pick. Let's go to TCU versus the winner of Nevada versus Arizona State. I'm going to start. I think Nevada's going to beat Arizona State, and then TCU is going to beat whoever wins that game because TCU, another scary out in the bracket. They're very good defensively, very good offensively. Mike Miles Jr., one of the best scorers in the nation. Horned Frogs advance. Teets?
I was going to say Mike Miles Jr. is a stud. He's going to go off for them. Doesn't matter who they play. TCU is going to win.
Trey?
Yeah, TCU needs to make some shots to advance deep in this tournament, but I think that they're going to easily win in this first round. Give me TCU.
All right. TCU advances. Gonzaga versus Grand Canyon. I have Gonzaga wins easily, and they move on. Keats?
I didn't even put notes. It's just Gonzaga.
Trey?
Yeah, Gonzaga is very disrespected with this 3 seed.
Yeah.
They might go very far, and I feel bad for the 2 seed who's going to have to play them in the Elite 8.
Yeah, they got a bad rap. 3 seeds, incredible for them. But let's move on to Northwestern versus Boise State. I'm going to put Northwestern here to advance in this game based off the stats. Boise State has never won an NCAA tournament game, 0-8 all-time. Northwestern Big Ten battled. 2 good defenses here, but Northwestern does enough to win. This is going to be like a 55-58 game. It's going to be ugly. Teets?
I agree with everything you just said. It's going to be based off of the fact that they have played some really good teams in the Big Ten, and Boise State has not played much at all. So give me Northwestern.
Trey?
Gosh, it doesn't matter. I'd be picking Boise State here. Northwestern hasn't really impressed me all that much in the Big Ten. They've been very up and down and have been beating the teams they're supposed to and have been losing in the games that they were supposed to at least make it competitive. Boise State here has been as steady as a rock as what we'd expect in the Mountain West. So give me Boise State, but Northwestern advances.
Yeah, Northwestern does advance. It should be a good game. Boise State could easily win that game. But let's go to the UCLA versus UNC Asheville game. I have UCLA winning this game. Kalen Clark is out for the season, though. Their starting point guard. Something to point out for the UCLA Bruins. So, Teets?
I covered the UNC Asheville team quite a bit this year, but they're not matched up to UCLA. They have not played anyone close to that level and played them well. Even though Clark's out for the season, they've still got so much talent and depth to be able to go around. So UCLA wins this one easy.
Trey?
I'm going to be picking up another upset here of the 2 seed, and I'll get outvoted again. I do think Drew Pember will leave his Mark Felt in this game. Drew Pember is a massive 6'11 forward. You can count him as a center, but they have him as a forward. Averages 20-plus points a game and almost grabs 10 rebounds. I think UCLA is going to have a problem with him, so give me UNC Asheville.
All right, Trey's on UNC Asheville. I like it. I don't hate it, but 2 seed advances, though. Let's go back up to the top here. We're going to have KU against Arkansas. KU got a bad rap. This is a loaded region here. I'm going to go KU, though, to win the game. Teets?
Dude, this is difficult. When KU's on, they're electric. But Arkansas is so big, it's hard to be able to match up because KU just they do not have the size. But it is KU. They don't get bounced very often in the round of 32. I should probably knock on some wood, but I am taking KU.
Trey?
I'm going to be going with Arkansas here. I'm going to be outvoted, but like Teets said, if he was using his brain instead of his heart, he would have picked Arkansas because what he just said was KU cannot defend in the paint against this Arkansas team. They're led by a pair of twins in Mikel and Mitchell.
Like that, yeah.
I didn't get it right, but the fact of the matter is they are blocking every shot that enters the paint. I think KU will struggle to put up a lot of points in this game if they can't catch hot from behind the arc.
Real quick, I did read somewhere, this isn't swaying my pick, but I just want to put it out there. I read that since the Florida Gators won back-to-back, most teams that have won in the national championship do not make it past round of 32 the next year. So it's not looking great for KU, and that's an awful matchup to take, but I still am hoping that KU can pull through.
All right, KU does advance on majority rule, but let's go on to the next game. Trey, I'll have you start this one off. It's going to be the VCU versus Iona game.
Yeah, and I'm going to be riding with the Iona Gales here. I think Rick Pitino's going to be having his team buzzing. They're led by those 3 stars that we mentioned earlier, and I think that they will carry them past the tough defense of VCU. I don't know if VCU is going to quite be able to outscore Iona in this game, and that's what it's going to come down to. And
Jeez,
also,
don't do me dirty here. I'm taking VCU to
also,
advance.
this game is in New York. That is right in Iona's backyard. If Iona does make it to the round of 32, this game is going to be buzzing.
Teats, I have VCU. Don't do it.
You know I'm going to do it.
All right, yeah, sure, go for it.
No, I just think that Iona, if they can get past the first round, the thing is Iona is not a great team down the stretch. They have let a lot of teams close in on them towards the second half of the game. So if they want to win any of these games, they've got to be able to play a full, complete game, pedal to the metal, never give up. They just kind of get streaky. It's almost like they get tired and they just go on streaks towards the end of the game. So if they want to win this game, they've got to pull it together. But I'm taking Iona.
I will say on what Trey said, having that home field is very important in the NCAA tournament. So Iona also, they press every single possession. So, that's going to match VCU's energy, but it's going to be a great game. But next game is going to be TCU versus Gonzaga. I have Gonzaga advancing. They're a 3 seed for no reason. They should be a 2 seed, maybe even a 1 seed. So Gonzaga. Teats?
I'm taking Gonzaga. TCU, they're a great 6 seed team, but they got a bad pull. I don't think they can even get close to matching up with Gonzaga.
Trey?
Yeah, Gonzaga's been up and down, but they show up in the tournament at least up until the Final Four every year. So give me Gonzaga.
All right, let's move on. The sweep there with Gonzaga. TCU goes home. Let's go to our next game. It's going to be UCLA versus Northwestern game. I had Northwestern barely beating Boise State, so I'm going to take UCLA here. They get one more round for me. Trey?
Yep, another time where this game is in their backyard. UCLA is playing in Sacramento. Give me UCLA to kind of blow out Northwestern and carry some very big momentum heading into the Sweet 16.
Teats?
Let's sweep it. Give me UCLA.
All right, we're sweeping. Let's go back up to the top here. It's going to be Kansas against Iona. Wow. Okay. Not the matchup I thought, but I'm going to take Kansas. Trey?
Yes, this is where their road ends. I do think that KU just might be a little bit too physical for Iona. I don't like to take KU to make it this far because in my head, they don't make it this far any year besides last year that they won the tournament. Iona is very scary. This game's going to be in Las Vegas, so we're just going to have to wait and see, but I do have KU advancing.
Teats, sweep?
I do have KU advancing in this game. The one thing that I'm really worried about is that KU is incredibly streaky, and if you get them on a bad night, Iona will run away with this game.
To what Trey said, and Teats really, I had VCU beating I believe the 5 seed, and I have VCU beating Kansas here. So I don't think Kansas gets this far either, but Kansas will advance against Iona for my pick. I think VCU will be there, though. But let's move on to the last game of the bracket. Going to be a great game here. Gonzaga versus UCLA. Clark's out for UCLA, the point guard. Gonzaga, too good offensively. I'm going to take Gonzaga. Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Gonzaga here. I love Gonzaga. And like Bear said, Clark is ruled out for the tournament and for the rest of the season. I don't think their depth is going to be able to survive the onslaught that Gonzaga is going to be throwing at them.
Teats, sweep?
It is Timmy time. Give me Gonzaga.
Timmy. All right, Gonzaga advances there with the sweep. Let's go to the final game. It's going to be the Gonzaga Bulldogs versus KU. Even if this is the game that we're going to see, Timmy, 2 elite scoring guards forward for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Bolton knocks down 3s. They just need to tighten up their defense a little bit, and they're going to be in the finals. I have Gonzaga beating KU here. Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gonzaga. KU does have some championship mentality since they won last year. So if they do get this far, I think that they might advance. But with Bill Self, we all know what to expect with them. Chokes. Give me Gonzaga.
Should I use my coin? No, I'm not going to use my coin. I'm taking Gonzaga here as well. I just think that this KU team, as talented as they are, they're just not meant for the tournament.
Do you both have your coin left?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so the Elite 8, let's do it. Let's go to the top region first here. Or no, Final 4, right?
Final Four.
All right, let's go to the Final 4. It's going to be Alabama against Marquette. I'm going to start. I have Alabama winning it all. I'm going to take Alabama. Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Alabama here. I might have waited too long for my coin. Probably should have used it with K-State, and we'd be talking about them here instead of Marquette. But this matchup has a pretty good percentage chance of happening because, if we look at Marquette's bracket, it's not too good, and Alabama is head and shoulders above their bracket. So give me Alabama here to advance to the championship game, and Brandon Miller, we'll see what happens.
Teats?
I'm considering using my coin. I don't think Alabama honestly gets this far.
Okay.
but I won't use it. There's just no point in this one. I'll take Marquette, but I'll take it with a loss.
All right, so Alabama will be our first team in the final.
Outvoted.
Let's go to the Gonzaga versus Texas A&M game. Heart can only get you so far when skill is the other side. I'm going to take Gonzaga here. Trey?
Gosh, okay. Well, I'm going to be going with Texas A&M because if we look at it, Texas A&M's defense is very, very good. And the only question is, how good are they against such an elite offense of Gonzaga? And Texas A&M has shown up against really good teams this year and held them below what their average is. They were really good against Alabama, really good against Tennessee. So give me Texas A&M to continue pumping their heart.
Teets?
Trey, do you want to use your coin? Because I'm going to go with Gonzaga here.
No, I don't trust them enough to use the coin.
You're going to
I had Texas
game?
Yeah, there was just not really any games that made sense.
Well, you know what? I am
going
to be using my coin. This game's going to be in Houston. I'm going to be using my coin on Texas A&M.
All right, there we go. That's a good use of a coin there. I love the Aggies in the championship game, by the way. That just makes the most sense. Heart gets you to the national championship game.
Dude, this is the third time these two teams have met up this year, and they are 1-1. I love that.
Oh, yeah. SEC battle, Alabama wins the second of third meeting. Teets? Let's go Trey first because you're probably going to use your coin regardless. Trey?
Are you going to use that coin? We'll see what happens. But
we'll see what happens.
We saw what these two teams did against each other a few nights ago in the SEC championship game. The Tide are so good, but who knows what's going to be happening on April 3rd. Like I said, this game is in Houston, so I feel like Texas A&M is going to have a roaring crowd. But Texas is not that far away from Alabama, so their fans will definitely travel for a national championship game. I'm going to be going Texas A&M here to kind of put some pressure on Teets to see what he picks.
You don't have to take any pressure. I'm taking Texas A&M. I don't have Texas A&M making it this far, but if you get me a matchup where Alabama and Texas A&M play again, I am taking Texas A&M. They have everything that you need to be able to shut down Brandon Miller and the Crimson Tide, and I think that if they happen to make it to this point, Texas A&M will win it.
You're not wrong in what you said. Like,
wow.
If Texas A&M gets here, it's going to be a great game. What do we think the final score is going to be? I'd say somewhere in the 60s if Texas A&M is going to win, right?
I would say like 64 to like 59.
Let's go. I say 67-63 for my pick.
I like that. I was going to say 68 to 65. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, probably coming down to the last shot like most of the national championship games do. If you guys do believe in Texas A&M, we have to trust that their defense is going to show up in the national championship rather than their offense.
This is going to be brutal if Penn State beats them round one, but we're going with you know what? That's what the game's played for. You got to play your games, you got to win your games to advance. But Texas A&M is our pick to win it all this season. Majority rule vote with a coin use. But you know what? Texas A&M. If you guys want to play with us, if you want to compete, make sure you join the free bracket. If you want to do our bracket for paying members, you need to pay $5 on the site. You get our member plays for the month, and you get to enter into our bracket for NCAA. The payouts for that will be $50 the first, $30 the second, and $20 the third. If you just want to play in the free bracket, you can do that as well. It'll be first place gets a 1-year membership, second place gets a 6-month membership, and third place gets a 1-month membership. So come on, join this bracket here, compete with us. We have Texas A&M win it all, but yeah, it was fun to break down this game, and we will see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Just want to let everyone know that while we do give out free picks, plays, and predictions on our YouTube channel, we also have a website for you to check out. On our website, bearsprofitplays.com, you can subscribe to the website absolutely free with an email and gain access to our written articles about upcoming sporting events. If you're really looking to make some cash, we have an option to become a member of our website. If you become a member, you will gain access to our Locks of the Week, which are written articles that go in depth as to why we are picking that particular outcome. As of now, our member plays have been red hot, hitting over 60% of our plays. If you don't want to become a member, it's no sweat. We are here to try and make you guys some money. That's our main goal. So come on over to bearsprofitplays.com and subscribe for free. Check us out, follow our free picks, and see for yourself that our member plays are a great investment for you. Thanks for watching.